Hello, today I'll guide you through the essential steps to measure for the Configura chairs. These measurements are crucial to ensure comfort and support for the individuals using these specialized seating solutions. Before we start, here are some general tips to ensure precise measurements for an accurate seating prescription. When selecting a chair size, prioritize the chair measurements in the following order: seat depth, seat height, and then seat width. This will ensure the selected size is the right overall proportion for the user. Measure in neutral or ideal posture if the user can achieve this. Opt for a firm surface, like a chair or a plinth, for measurements. Avoid beds or couches to prevent excessive immersion, ensuring accurate measurements. Choose a surface that allows full access around the user for ease in taking measurements. Utilize a hard tape measurer to maintain straightness and prevent curving or bending during measurements. When measuring height, consider the user's typical footwear or measure barefoot if that's how they usually sit in the chair. If the user is a dependent sitter, you can assess them in supine or a lying position. You can also measure in supine if the user has a pressure injury on sitting surfaces. And lastly, measure both sides in case of pelvic instability. For the Configura Comfort, we'll take 3 key measurements. We'll do seat depth, seat height, and seat width. We measure the seat depth by taking a pen and putting it into the user's popliteal crease. And then we can take a clipboard and place it at the base of the spine. And now we can measure from the clipboard to the pen. Now we measure the seat height by taking the pen on the popliteal crease and measuring from the base of the foot to the pen. Last of all, we measure the seat width from the widest point of either the hips or the thighs. We can do this by placing our hands on each side and sticking out our thumbs and use that as a measuring point. Or we can use 2 clipboards and we can put that on each side and we can measure that distance, and then we can add 1 inch to that measurement. When we're measuring for the seat depth, we need to consider that many bariatric users have a gluteal shelf. So we can't take the measurement from the base of the spine to the popliteal crease, because if the gluteal shelf is included, that will hit the back of the backrest support first, and the person would need to lean back to get the full support, and then they'll be in a posterior pelvic tilt or sacral sitting posture to be able to use the backrest support. We start by placing the clipboards at the back of the scapula and at the back of the calves, and then we ignore the gluteal shelf and measure from the scapula to the calves. Now that we've measured the seat depth, we can take out the bottom pillow. We can take out some of the stuffing and place it back onto the backrest. Now that we've allowed space for the gluteal shelf, the user can move fully back and have their back supported by the backrest. This will have their pelvis in a more neutral position and they will be able to maintain the correct posture. When looking at the seat height, we won't measure from the pen in the popliteal crease because the user will have extra body mass at their thighs, so we'll rather measure from the lowest point of that body mass to the base of the foot. Remember, these measurement techniques apply specifically to Configura chairs. Always follow the guidelines tailored to different seating systems for accurate fittings. Thank you for joining me today. I hope these steps help in obtaining precise measurements for optimal seating comfort.